Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Zoom Shakespeare's 30th production. Woo! Everyone, this is CYMBELINE. Enjoy the show.
You do not meet a man but frowns. Our bloods no more obey the heavens than our courtiers still seem as does the king's.
But what's the matter?
His daughter, and the heir of's kingdom, whom he purposed to his wife's sole son, a widow that late he married, hath referred herself unto a poor but worthy gentleman. She's wedded, her husband banished, she imprisoned. All is outward sorrow, though I think the king be touched at very heart.
None but the king?
He that hath lost her too, so is the queen, the most desired the match, but not a courtier, although they wear their faces to the bent of the king's looks, hath a heart that is not glad at the thing they scowl at.
And why so?
He that hath missed the princess is a thing too bad for bad report, and he that hath her, he that hath married her, alack, good man, and therefore banished, is a creature such as to seek through the regions of the earth for one his like, there would be something failing in him that should compare. I do not think so fair an outward and such stuff within endows a man but he.
You speak him fair.
I do extend him, sir, within himself. Crush him together, rather than unfold his measure duly.
What's his name and birth?
I cannot delve him to the roots. His father was called Sicilius, who did join his honor against the Romans with CYMBELINE, but had his titles by Tenantius, whom he served with glory and admired success, so gained the Surredician Leonatus, and had, besides this gentleman in question, 2 other sons, who in the wars of the time died with their swords in hand, for which their father, then old and fond of issue, took such sorrow that he quit being. And his gentle lady, big of this gentleman our theme, deceased as he was born. The king, he takes the babe to his protection, calls him Posthumus Leonatus, breeds him and makes him of his bedchamber, puts him all the learnings that his time could make him the receiver of, which he took, as we do, air, fast as 'twas ministered, and in spring became a harvest, lived in court, which rare it is to do, most praised, most loved, a sample to the youngest, to the more mature, a glass that feeded them, and to the graver, a child that guided dotards. To his mistress, for whom he now is banished, her own price proclaims how she esteemed him, and his virtue by her election may be truly read what kind of man he is.
I honor him even out of your report. But pray you tell me, is she sole child to the king?
His only child. He had 2 sons. If this be worth your hearing, mark it. The eldest of them, at 3 years old, The swaddling clothes, the other, from their nursery were stolen, and to this hour no guess in knowledge which way they went.
How long is this ago?
Some 20 years?
That a king's children should be so conveyed, so slackly guarded, and the search so slow that could not trace them.
Howsoe'er 'tis strange, or that the negligence may well be laughed at, yet is it true?
I do well believe you.
We must forbear. Here comes the gentleman, the queen, and princess.
No, be assured you shall not find me, daughter, after the slander of most stepmothers, evil-eyed unto you. You're my prisoner, but your jailer shall deliver you the keys that lock up your restraint. For you, Posthumus, so soon as I can win the offended king, I will be known your advocate. Madam, yet the fire of rage is in him, and could you leaned under his sentence, and what patience your wisdom may inform you.
Please, your highness, I will from hence today.
You know the peril. I'll fetch a turn about the garden, pitying the pangs of barred affections. Though the king hath charged you should not speak together.
Oh, dissembling courtesy! How fine this tyrant can tickle where she wounds! My dearest husband, I something fear my father's wrath, but nothing, always reserved to my holy duty, what his rage can do on me. You must be gone, and I shall here abide the hourly shot of angry eyes, not comforted to live, but that there is this jewel in the world I may see again.
Oh, my queen, my mistress! Oh, lady, weep no more, lest I give cause to be suspected of more tenderness than doth become a man. I will remain the loyalest husband that did e'er plight troth. My residence in Rome at one Philarios, who, known to my father, was a friend, to me known by letter, to the right, my queen, and with mine eyes I'll drink the words you send, though ink be made of gall.
Be brief, I pray you. If the king come, I shall incur, I know not how much of his displeasure. Yet I'll move him to walk this way. I never do him wrong, but he does by my injuries. To be friends pays dears for my offenses.
Should we be taking leave as long a term as yet we have to live, the loathness to depart would grow.
Nay, stay a little. Were you but riding forth to air yourself, such parting were too petty. Look here, love. This diamond was my mother's. Take it, heart, but keep it till you woo another wife when Imogen is dead.
How another? You, gentle gods, give me but this I have, and sew up upon my embracements from a next with bonds of death. Remain thou here, while sense can keep it on, and sweetest, fairest, as I my poor self did exchange for you to your so infinite loss, so in our trifles I still win of you. For my sake, wear this. It is a manacle of love. I'll place it upon this fairest prisoner.
Oh, the gods! When shall we see again?
Alack, the king!
Thou basest thing, avoid hence from my sight. If after this command thou fraught the court with thy unworthiness, thou diest away. Thou art poison to my blood.
The gods protect you, and bless the good remainders of the court. I am gone.
There cannot be a pinch in death more sharp than this is.
Oh, disloyal thing, that shouldst repair my youth, thou heapst a year's age on me.
I beseech you, sir, harm not yourself with your vexation. I am senseless of your wrath. A touch more rare subdues all pangs, all fears.
Past grace, obedience,
Past hope, and in despair, that way, past grace.
that mightst have had the sole son of my queen.
Oh, blessed that I might not. I chose an eagle and didst avoid a puttock.
Thou tookst a beggar, wouldst have made my throne a seat for baseness.
No, I rather added a luster to it.
Oh, thou vile one!
Sir, it is your fault that I have loved Posthumus. You bred him as my playfellow, and he is a man worth any woman. Overbuys me almost the sum he pays.
What, art thou mad?
Almost, sir, heaven restore me. Would I were a neatherd's daughter, and my Leonatus, our neighbor's shepherd's son.
Thou foolish thing. They were again together. You have done naught after our command. Away with her and pen her up.
Beseech your patience, peace. Dear lady daughter, peace. Sweet sovereign, leave us to ourselves and make yourself some comfort out of your best advice.
Nay, let her languish a drop of blood a day, and being aged, die of this folly.
Fie, you must give way. Here is your servant. How now, sir, what news?
My lord, your son drew in my master.
No harm, I trust it's done?
There might have been, but that my master rather played than fought, and had no help of anger. They were parted by gentlemen at hand.
Oh, I am very glad on it.
Your son's my father's friend. He takes his part to draw upon an exile. Oh, brave sir. I would they were in Afric, both together, myself with a needle that I might prick the goer back. Why came you from your master?
On his command. He would not suffer me to bring him to the haven, left these notes of what commands I should be subject to when it pleased you to employ me.
This hath been your faithful servant. I dare lay mine honor he will remain so.
I humbly thank your highness.
Pray, walk a while.
About some half hour hence, I pray you speak with me. You shall at least go see my lord aboard. For this time leave me.
Sir, I would advise you as shift a shirt. The violence of action hath made you reek as a sacrifice. Where air comes out, air comes in. There's none abroad so wholesome as that you vent.
If my shirt were bloody, then to shift it. Have I hurt him?
No, faith, not so much as his patience.
Hurt him? His body's a passable carcass if he be not hurt. It is a thoroughfare for steel if it be not hurt.
His steel was in debt. It went out the backside of the town.
The villain would not stand me.
Oh no, but he fled forward still toward your face.
Stand you? You have land enough of your own, but he added to your having, gave you some ground.
As many inches as you have oceans, puppies.
I would. They had not come between us.
So would I, till you had measured how long a fool you were upon the ground.
And that she should love this fellow and refuse me.
If it be a sin to make a true election, she is damned.
Sir, as I told you always, her beauty and her brain go not together. She's a good sign, but I have seen small reflection of her wit.
She shines not upon fools, lest the reflection should hurt her.
Come, to my chamber. Would there had been some hurts done?
I wish not so, unless it had been the fall of an ass, which is no great hurt.
You'll go with us?
I'll attend your lordship.
Nay, come. Let's go together.
Oh, well, my lord.
I would thou grewst unto the shores of the haven and questionst every sail. If he should write and not have it, 'twere a paper lost, as offered mercy is. What was the last that he spake to thee?
It was his queen, his queen.
Then waved his handkerchief?
And kissed it, madam.
senseless linen, happier therein than I. And that was all?
No, madam, for so long as he could make me with this eye or ear distinguish him from others, he did keep the deck, with glove or hat or handkerchief still waving, as the fits and stirs of his mind could best express how slow his soul sailed on, how swift his ship.
Thou shouldst have made him as little as a crow, or less, ere left to after eye him.
Madam, so I did.
I would have broke mine eye strings, cracked them but to look upon him, till the diminution of space had pointed him sharp as my needle. Nay, followed him till he had melted from the smallness of a gnat to air, and then have turned mine eye and wept. But good Pisanio, when shall we hear from him?
Be assured, madam, with his next vantage.
I did not take my leave of him, but had most pretty things to say. Ere I could tell him how I would think on him at certain hours, such thoughts and such, or I could make him swear the sheaves of Italy should not betray mine interest and his honor, or have charged him at the 6th hour of morn, at noon, at midnight, to encounter me with orisons. For then I am in heaven with him, or ere I could give him that parting kiss, which I had set betwixt two charming words, comes in my father, and like the tyrannous breathing of the north, shakes all our buds from growing.
The Queen, madam, desires your highness's company.
Those things I bid you do, get them dispatched. I will attend the Queen.
Madam, I shall.
Believe it, sir, I have seen him in Britain. He was then a crescent note expected to prove so worthy as since he hath been allowed the name of, but I could then have looked on him without the help of admiration, though the catalogue of his endowments had been tabled by his side, and I to pursue him by items.
You speak of him when he was less furnished than now he is, with that which makes him both without and within.
I have seen him in France. We had very many there could hold the sun with as firm eyes as he.
This matter of marrying his king's daughter, wherein he must be weighed rather by her value than his own, words him. I doubt not a great deal from the matter.
And then his banishment.
Aye, and the approbation of those that weep this lamentable divorce under her colors are wonderfully to extend him, be it but to fortify her judgment, which else an easy battery might lay flat for taking a beggar without less quality. But how comes it he is to sojourn with you? How creeps the acquaintance?
His father and I were soldiers together, to whom I have been often bound for no less than my life. Here comes the Briton. Let him be so entertained amongst you as suits, with gentlemen of your knowing, to a stranger of his quality. I beseech you all, be better known to this gentleman, whom I commend to you as a noble friend of mine. How worthy he is, I will leave to appear hereafter, rather than story him in his own hearing.
Sir, we have known together in Orient.
Since when I have been a debtor to you for courtesies which I will be ever to pay, and yet pay still.
Monsieur, you orate my poor kindness. I was glad I did it tell my countrymen and you. It had been pity you should have been put together with so mortal a purposes than each bore, upon importance of so slight and trivial a nature.
By your pardon, sir, I was then a young traveler, rather shunned to go even with what I heard than in my every action to be guided by others' experiences. But upon my mended judgment, if I offend not to say it is mended, my quarrel was not altogether slight.
Faith, yes. To be put to the arbitrament of souls, and by such tools that would by all likelihood have confounded one the other, or have fallen both.
Can we with manners ask what was the difference?
Safely, I think. 'Twas a contention in public, which may without contradiction suffer the report. It was much like an argument that fell out last night, where each of us fell in praise of our country mistresses, This gentleman at that time vouching, and upon warrant of bloody affirmation, vouching his to be more fair, virtuous, wise, chaste, constant, qualified, less attemptable than any the rarest of our ladies in France.
That lady is not now living, or this gentleman's opinion by this worn out. She holds her virtue still, and I my mind. You must not so far prefer her for ours of Italy. Being so far provoked as I was in France, I would abate her nothing, though I profess myself her adorer, not her friend. As fair and as good a kind of hand-in-hand comparison had been something too fair and too good for any lady in Britain. If she went before others I have seen, as that diamond of yours outlust as many I have beheld, I could not but believe she excelled many. But I have not seen the most precious diamond, that is, nor you the lady. I praised her as I rated her. So do I my stone. What do you esteem it at? More than the world enjoys. Either your unparagoned mistress is dead, or is outprized by a trifle. You are mistaken. The one may be sold or given, or if there were wealth enough for the purchase of them, or merit for the gift. The other is not a thing for sale, only the gift of the gods. Which the gods have given you? Which by their graces I will keep. You may wear her in title yours. You know strange foul light upon neighboring ponds. May be stolen too, so your brace of imprizable estimations, the one is but frail and the other casual. A cunning thief, or a that-way accomplished courtier, would hazard the winning of both of first and last. Your Italy contains none so accomplished a courtier to convince the honor of my mistress, if in the holding or loss of that you term her frail. I do nothing doubt you have stores of thieves, notwithstanding I fear not my ring.
Let us leave here, gentlemen.
Sir, with all my heart, this worthy signor, I thank him, makes no stranger of me. We are familiar at first. With 5 times so much conversation, I should get ground of your fair mistress, make her go back, even to the yielding, had I admittance and opportunity to, friend. No? No. I dare thereupon pawn the moiety of my estate to your ring, which is, in my opinion, or values it something. But I make my wager rather than against your confidence than her reputation. And to bar your offense herein too, I durst attempt it against any lady in the world. You are a great deal abused in too bold a persuasion, and I doubt not you sustain what you're worthy of by your attempt. What's that? A repulse. Though your attempt, as you call it, deserve more. A punishment, too.
Gentlemen, enough of this. It came in too suddenly. Let it die as it was born, and I pray you be better acquainted.
Would that I had put my estate and my neighbors on the approbation of what I have spoke. What lady would you choose to assail? Yours, whom in constancy you think stands so safe. I will lay you 10,000 ducats to your ring, that commend me to the court where your lady is, with no more advantage than the opportunity of a second conference, and I will bring from thence that honor of hers which you imagine so reserved. I will wage against your gold to it. My ring I hold as dear as my finger, 'tis part of it. You are a friend, and therein the wiser. If you buy lady's flesh at $1,000,000 a dram, you cannot preserve it from tainting. I see you have some religion in you, that you fear. This is but a custom in your tongue. You bear a graver purpose, I hope. Aye, am the master of my speeches and would undergo what's spoken, I swear. Will you? I shall but lend my diamond till your return. Let there be covenants drawn between us. My mistress exceeds in goodness the hugeness of your unworthy thinking. I dare you to this match. Here's your drink.
I will have it no lay.
By the gods, it is one. If I bring you no sufficient testimony that I have enjoyed the dearest bodily part of your mistress, my 10,000 ducats are yours. So is your diamond, too. If I come off and leave her in such honor as you trust in, she, your jewel, this, your jewel, and my gold, yours, provided I have your commendation for my more free entertainment. I embrace these conditions. Let us have articles betwixt us. Only thus far you shall answer. If you make your voyage upon her and give me directly to understand you have prevailed, I am no further your enemy. She is not worth our debate. If she remain unseduced, you not making it appear otherwise for your ill opinion and the assault have you made to her chastity, you shall answer me with your sword. Your hand, a covenant. We will have these things set down by lawful counsel and straight away for Britain. Lest the bargain should catch cold and starve, I will fetch my gold and have our 2 wagers recorded. Agreed.
Will this hold? Thank you.
Signor Iachimo will not from it. Pray let us follow him.
Whilst yet the dew is on the ground, gather those flowers. Make haste. You have the note of them?
Aye, madam.
Dispatch. Now, Master Doctor, have you brought those drugs?
Pleaseth your highness. Aye, here they are, madam. I beseech your grace, without offense, my conscience bids me ask, wherefore you have commanded of me these most poisonous compounds, which are the movers of a languishing death, but slow, deadly.
I wonder, Doctor, thou ask me such a question? Have I not been thy pupil long? Hast thou not learned me how to make perfumes, distill, preserve? Yea, so that our great king himself doth woo me off for my confections. Having thus far proceeded, unless thou think me devilish, is it not meet that I did amplify my judgment and other conclusions? I will try the forces of these thy compounds on such creatures as we count not worth the hanging, but non-human, to try the vigor of them and apply allayments to the act, and by them gather their several virtues and effects.
Your highness shall from this practice but make hard your heart. Besides, the seeing his effects will be both noisome and infectious.
Oh, content thee. Here comes a flattering rascal. Upon him will I first work. He is for his master and enemy to my son. Oh, how now, Pisanio? Doctor, your service for this time is ended. Make your own way.
But she shall do no harm.
Hark thee, a word.
I do not like her. She doth think she hath strange and lingering poisons. I do know her spirit, and will not trust one of her malice with a drug of such damned nature. Those she has will stupefy and dull the senses a while, which first perchance shall prove on cats and dogs, then afterwards much higher. But there is no danger in what show of death it makes, more than the locking up the spirits a time to be more fresh, reviving. She is fooled with the most false effect, and I the truer so to be false to her.
No further service, Doctor, until I send for thee.
I humbly take my leave.
Weeps she still, sayest thou? Dost thou think in time she will not quench, and let instructions enter where folly now possesses? Do thou work. When thou shalt bring me word she loves my son, I'll tell thee on the instant, thou art then as great as is thy master, greater. For his fortunes all lie speechless, and his name is at last gasp. Return he cannot, nor continue where he is. To shift his being is to exchange one misery with another. And every day that comes to decay a day's work in him. What shalt thou expect to be depend on a thing that leans, who cannot be new built, nor has no friend so much as but to prop him? Oh, thou takest up, thou knowest no what. But take it for thy labor. It's a thing I made, which hath the king 5 times redeemed from death. I do not know what is more cordial. Nay, I prithee, take it. It is an earnest of a further good that I mean to thee. Tell thy mistress how the case stands with her. Do it as from thyself. Think what a chance thou changest on, but think thou hast thy mistress still, to boost my son, who shall take notice of thee. I'll move the king to any shape of thy preferment, such as thou it desire, and then myself. I chiefly that set thee onto the desert, am bound to load my merits richly. Call my women. Think on my words. A shy and constant knave, not to be shaked, the agent for his master, and the remembrance of her to hold the head fast to her lord. I have given him that which, if he take, shall quite unpeople her of lieges for her sweet, and which she after, except she bend her humour, shall be assured to taste false too. So, well done, well done. The violets, cowslips, and the primroses, bear to my closet. Fare thee well, Pisanio. Think on my words.
And shall do. But when's my good lord I prove untrue, I'll choke myself. There's all I'll do for you.
A father cruel and a stepdame false, a foolish suitor to a wedded lady that hath her husband banished. Oh, that husband, my supreme crown of grief, and those repeated vexations of it, had I been thief stolen as my 2 brothers, happy, but most miserable in the desire that's glorious. Blessed be those, how mean soe'er, that have their honest wills, which seasons comfort. Who may this be? Fie.
Madam, a noble gentleman of Rome comes from my lord with letters.
Change you, madam. The worthy Leonatus is in safety and greets your highness dearly.
Thanks, good sir, you are kindly welcome.
All of her that is out of door most rich. If she be furnished with a mind so rare, she is alone the Arabian bird. I have lost the wager. Boldness be my friend. Arm me audacity from head to foot, or like the Parthian, I shall flying fight. Rather directly fly.
He is one of the noblest note, to whose kindnesses I am most infinitely tied. Reflect upon him accordingly as you value your trust, Leonatus. So far I read aloud. But even the very middle of my heart is warmed by the rest and takes it thankfully. You are as welcome, worthy sir, as I have words to bid you, and shall find it so in all that I can do.
Thanks, fairest lady. What, are men mad? Hath nature given them eyes to see this vaulted arch and the rich crop of sea and land which can distinguish twixt the fiery orbs above and the twinned stones upon the unnumbered beach? And can we not partition make with spectacles so precious twixt fair and foul?
What makes your admiration?
It cannot be in the eye, for apes and monkeys twixt two such sheaves would chatter this way and contemn with mouths the other, nor in the judgment, for idiots in this case of favor would be wisely definite, nor in the appetite. Sluttery to such neat excellence opposed should make desire vomit emptiness, not so allured feed.
What is the matter, Trobe?
The cloyed will, that satiate yet unsatisfied desire, that tub both filled and running, ravening the first lamb long after for the garbage.
What, dear sir, thus raps you? Are you well?
Thanks, madam. Well. Beseech you, sir, desire my man's abode, where I did leave him. He's strange and peevish.
I was going, sir, to give him welcome.
Continues well, my lord. His health, beseech you.
Well, madam.
Is he disposed to mirth? I hope he is.
Exceeding pleasant. None a stranger there, so merry and so gamesome. He is called the Britain Reveller.
When he was here, he did incline to sadness, and oft times not knowing why.
I never saw him sad. There's a Frenchman, his companion, one eminent monsieur that it seems much loves a gallant girl at home. He furnaces the thick sighs from him, while the jolly Briton, your lord, laughs from free lungs, cries, "Oh, can my sides hold to think that man who knows my history report, or his own proof what woman is, yea, that she cannot choose, but must be, wills free hours languish for assured bondage."
Will my lord say so?
Aye, madam, with his eyes in flood with laughter. It is a recreation to be by and hear him mock the Frenchman. But, heavens know, some men are much to blame.
Not he, I hope.
Not he. But yet, heaven's bounty towards him might be used more thankfully. In himself, 'tis much. In you, which I account his, beyond all talents. Whilst I am bound to wonder, I am bound to pity too.
What do you pity, sir?
Two creatures, heartily.
Am I one, sir? You look on me. What wreck discern you in me deserves your pity?
Lamentable, what to hide me from the radiant sun and solace in the dungeon by a snuff?
I pray you, sir, deliver with more openness your answers to my demands. Why do you pity me?
That others do. I was about to say, enjoy your, but it is an office of the gods to venge it, not mine to speak on't.
You do seem to know something of me, or what concerns me. Pray you, since doubting things go ill, often hurts more than to be sure they do. For certainties either are past remedies, or timely knowing the remedy then born, discover to me what both you spur and stop.
Had I this cheek to bathe my lips upon, this hand whose every touch would force the feeler's soul to the oath of loyalty, this object which takes prisoner the wild motion of mine eye, fixing it only here,
Should I damned then slaver with lips as common as the stairs that mount the Capitol, join gripes with hands made hard, with hourly falsehood, falsehood as with labor, then, by peeping in an eye, face and illustrious as the smoky light that's fed with stinking tallow, were fit that all the plagues of hell should at one time encounter such revolt.
My lord, I fear, has forgot Britain.
And himself. Not I, inclined to this intelligence, pronounce the beggary of his change, but 'tis your graces that from my mutest conscience to my tongue charms this report out.
Let me hear no more.
O dearest soul, your cause doth strike my heart with pity that doth make me sick. A lady so fair and fastened to an empery would make the great king double to be partnered with tomboys hired with that self-exhibition which your own coffers yield, and diseased ventures that play with all infirmities for gold, which rottenness can lend nature such boiled stuff as well might poison. Be revenged, or she that bore you was no queen, and you recoil from your own great stock.
Revenged? How should I be revenged, if this be true, as I have such a heart that both mine ears must not in haste abuse? If it be true, how should I be revenged?
Should he make me like Diana's priest betwixt cold sheets, whiles he is vaulting variable ramps in your despite upon your purse? Revenge it. I dedicate myself to your sweet pleasure, more noble than that runagate to your bed, and will continue fast to your affection, still close as sure.
What hope, Pisanio?
Let me service tender on your lips.
Away! I do condemn mine ears that have so long attended thee. If thou wert honorable, thou wouldst have told this tale for virtue, not for such an end thou seekst, as base as strange. Thou wrongst a gentleman who is as far from thy report as thou from honor, and solicits here a lady that disdains thee and the double alike. What hope, Pisanio? The king, my father, shall be made acquainted of thy assault, if he shall think it fit a saucy stranger in his court to mart as in a Romish stew, and to expound his beastly mind to us. He hath a court he little cares for, and a daughter who he respects not at all. What hope, Pisanio?
Oh, happy Leonatus, I may say the credit that the lady hath of thee deserves thy trust, and thy most precious goodness her assured credit. Blessed live you long, a lady to the worthiest sir that ever country called his, and you his mistress only for the most worthiest fit. Give me your pardon. I have spoke this to know if your affiance were deeply rooted, and shall make your lord that which he is new o'er, and he is one, the truest mannered, such a holy witch that he enchants societies into him. Half all men's hearts are his.
You make amends.
He sits mongst men like a descended god. He hath a kind of honor sets him off, more than a mortal seeming. Be not angry, most mighty princess, that I have adventured to try your taking of a false report, which hath honored with confirmation your great judgment, in the election of a sir so rare, which you know cannot err. The love I bear him made me to fan you thus, for the gods made you, unlike all others, chaffleless. Pray your pardon.
All's well, sir. Take my power in the court for yours.
My humble thanks. I had almost forgot to entreat your grace, but in a small request, and yet of moment too, for it concerns your lord, myself, and other noble friends, our partners in the business.
Pray, what is't?
Some dozen Romans of us, and your lord, the best feather of our wing, have mingled some to buy a present for the emperor, which I, the factor of the rest, have done in France. 'Tis plate of rare device and jewels of rich and exquisite form, their values great. And I am something curious, being strange, to have them in a safe stowage. May it please you to take them in protection.
Willingly, and upon mine honor for their safety, since my lord hath interest in them, I will keep them in my bedchamber.
They are in a trunk, attended by my men. I will make bold to send them to you, only for this night. I must aboard tomorrow.
Oh, no, no.
Yes, I beseech, or I shall short my word by lengthening my returns. From Gallia I crossed the seas on purpose and on promise to see your grace.
I thank you for your pains, but not away tomorrow.
Oh, I must, madam. Therefore I beseech you, if you please, to greet your lord with writing. Do it tonight. I have outstood my time, which is material to the tender of our present.
I will write. Send your trunk to me. It shall safe be kept and truly yielded you. You're very welcome.
Was there ever man had such luck? When I kissed upon the jack, upon an upcast to hit away, I had £100 on it, and then a whoreson jackanades must take me for swearing, as if I borrowed mine oaths of him, and might not spend them at my pleasure.
What got he by that? You broke his pate with your bowl.
If his wit had been like him that broke it, it would have all run out.
When a gentleman is disposed to swear, it is not for any Sanders by to curtail his oaths. Huh.
No, my lord, nor crop the ears of them.
Poor son dog, I gave him satisfaction. Would he have been one of my rank?
You have smelled like a fool.
I am not vexed more at anything in the air. A pox on it! I had rather not be so noble as I am. They dare not fight with me, because the queen, my mother, every jack slave has a belly full of fighting. I must go up and down like a cock that nobody can match.
You are cock and capon too, and you cock crow with your comb on.
Sayest thou?
Oh, it is not fit your lordship should undertake every companion that you give offence to.
No, I know that. But it is fit I should commit offence to my inferiors.
Aye, it is fit for your lordship only.
Why, so I say.
Did you hear of a stranger that's come to court tonight?
A stranger? And I know not of it.
He's a strange fellow himself, and knows it not.
There's an Italian come, and 'tis thought one of Leonatus' friends.
Leonatus? A punished rascal. He's another hornthorn, whatever he be. Who told you of this stranger?
One of your lordship's pages.
Is it fit I went to look upon him? Is there no degradation in it?
Oh, you cannot derogate, my lord.
Not easily, I think.
You are a fool, granted. Therefore, your issues, being foolish, do not derogate.
Come, I'll go see this Italian. What have I lost today at bowls, I'll win tonight of him. Come, go.
I'll attend your lordship. But such a crafty devil, as is his mother, should yield this world, this ass. A woman that bears down all with her brain, and this her son cannot take 2 from 20 for his heart and leave 18. Alas, poor princess, thou divinest Imogen, what thou endurest betwixt a father by thy stepdame governed, a mother hourly coining plots, a wooer more hateful than the full expulsion is of thy dear husband, than that horrid act of the divorce he'd make. The heavens hold firm the walls of thy dear honor. Keep unshaked that temple, thy fair mind, that thou mayest stand to enjoy thy banished lord in this great land.
Who's there? My woman Helen?
Please you, madam.
What hour is it?
Almost midnight, madam.
I have read 3 hours then. Mine eyes are weak. Fold down the leaf where I've left. To bed. Take not away the taper, leave it burning. And if thou canst awake by 4 the clock, prithee call me. Sleep hath seized me wholly. To your protection I commend me, gods. From fairies and the tempters of the night, guard me, beseech ye.
The crickets sing, and man's o'er-labored sense repairs itself by rest. Our Tarquin thus did softly press the rushes ere he wakened. Did Cythera, how bravely thou becomest thy bed, fresh lily and whiter than the sheets that I might touch. But kiss one kiss, rubies unparagoned, how dearly they do it. 'Tis her breathing that perfumes the chamber thus. The flame, oh, the taper, bows toward her and would underpeep her eyelids. To see the enclosed lights now canopied under these windows, white and azure laced with blue of heaven's own tint. But my design, to note the chamber, I will write all down. Such and such pictures, there the window, such the adornment of her bed, the hours figures. Why, such and such the contents of the story. But some natural notes about her body, about 10,000 meaner movables would testify to enrich mine inventory. Oh, sleep thou, ape of death, lie dull upon her, and be her sense but as a monument, thus in a chapel lying. Come off. Come off. As slippery as the Gordian knot was hard, 'tis mine. And this will witness outwardly as strongly as the conscience does within. The matting of her lord. On her left breast a mole, sink-spotted like the crimson drops. The bottom of a cowslip. Here's a voucher stronger than ever law could make. This secret will force him think I have picked the lock and ta'en the treasure of her honor. No more. To what end? Why should I write this down that's riveted, screwed to my memory? She hath been reading late. The tale of Tyreus here, the leaves turned down where Philomel gave up. I have enough. To the trunk again and shut the spring of it. Swift, swift, you dragons of the night, that dawning may bear the raven's eye. I lodge in fear. Though this is a heavenly angel, hell is here. 1, 2, 3. Time.
Your lordship is the most patient man in the lost, the most coldest that ever turned up an ace.
It would make any man cold to lose.
But not every man patient after the noble temper of your lordship. You are most hot and furious when you win.
Winning will put any man into courage, and if I could get this foolish Imogen, I should have gold enough. It's almost morning, is it not?
Day, my lord.
I would this music come. I'm advised to give her music a mornings, then say it will penetrate. Come on, tune, if you can penetrate her with your fingering, we'll try with your tongue too. If none will do, let her remain. Let's never give over. First, very excellent, good, consciented thing, a wonderful sweet air, and an admirable rich words to it, and then let her consider.
And the famous kings of kiss steeds to water, but the springs on chariots of fat loves. And the wind merry boys with everything that brings So get you gone! If it penetrates, consider your music the better. If it does not, it is a vice in her ears, whose false hairs and calves, guts, nor the voice of unpaved Enoch, to boot, can never amend.
Here comes the king.
I am glad I was up so late. For that reason I was up so early. He cannot choose but take this service I have done farbling. Good morrow to your majesty, and your gracious mother.
Attend you here the door of our stern daughter? Will she not forth?
I hailed her with musics, but she vouchsafes no more.
The exile of her minion is too new. She hath not yet forgot him. Some more time must wear the print of his remembrance on it, and then she's yours.
You are most bound to the king, who lets go by no vantages that may prefer you to his daughter. Frame yourself to orderly solicits and befriended with aptness of the season. Make denials increase your services, so seem as if you were inspired to do those duties which you tender to her, that you in all obey her, save when command or your dismission tends, and therein you are senseless.
Senseless? Not so.
So, like you, sir, ambassadors from Rome, the one is Caius Lucius.
A worthy fellow, albeit he comes on angry purpose now, but that's no fault of his. We must receive him according to the honor of his sender, and towards himself, his goodness forespent on us, we must extend our notice. Our dear son, when you have given good morning to your mistress, attend the queen and us. We shall have need to employ you towards this Roman. Come, our queen.
If she be up, I speak with her. If not, let her lie and dream. By your leave, ho! I know her women are about her. What if I do line one of their hand? 'Tis gold which buys admittest, off it doth yea, and makes Diana's rages false themselves. Yield up to their stand over there, sailor, and 'tis gold which makes the true man killed and saves the thief. Nay, sometimes hangs both thief and true man. What can it not do and undo? I will make her one woman lawyer to me, and yet not understand the case myself. By your leave.
Who's there that knocks?
A gentleman
No more.
and a gentlewoman's son.
That's more than some whose tailors are as dear as yours can justly boast of. What's your lordship's pleasure?
Your lady's person? Is she ready?
Aye, to keep her chamber.
There is gold for you. Sell me your good report.
How? My good name? Or to report of you what I shall think is good? The princess.
Good morrow, fair sailor. Your sweet hand.
Good morrow, sir. You lay out too much pains for purchasing but trouble. The thanks I give is telling you that I am poor of thanks and scarce can spare them.
Still, I swear I love you.
If you but said so, 'twere as deep with me. If you swear still, your recompense is still that I regard it not.
This is no answer.
But that you shall not say I yield being silent, I would not speak. I pray you spare me. Faith, I shall unfold equal discourtesy to your best kindness. One of your great knowing should learn, being taught, forbearance.
To leave you in your madness, 'twere my sin. I who will not.
Fools are not mad folks.
Do you call me fool?
As I am mad, I do. If you'll be patient, I'll be no more mad. That cures us both. I am much sorry, sir, you put me to forget a lady's manners by being so verbal, and learn now for all that I, which know my heart, do here pronounce by the very truth of it, I care not for you, and am so near the lack of charity to accuse myself, I hate you, which I had rather you felt than make my boast.
You sin against obedience, which you owe your father, for the contract you pretend with that each wench one bread of alms and fostered with cold dishes, which scraps on the court. This is no contract, none. And though it be allowed in meaner parties, yet who than he more mean to knit their souls, on whom there is no more dependency, but brats and beggary in self-figured not, yet you are curbed from the enlargement by the consequence o'er the crown, and must not foil this precious note of it with a base sleeve and hiding for a livery, a squire's cloth, a pantler, not so a mittent.
Profane fellow, wert thou the son of Jupiter, and no more but what thou art besides, thou wert too base to be his groom. Thou wert dignified enough, even to the point of envy, if 'twere made comparative for your virtues, to be styled the under hangman of his kingdom, and hated for being preferred so well.
That the South Frog rot him!
He never can meet more mischance than come to be but named of thee. His meanest garment that ever hath but clipped his body is dearer in my respect than all the hairs above thee, were they all made such men. How now, Bassanio?
His garments, now the devil.
To Dorothy, my woman, hie thee presently. I am sprighted with a fool, frighted and angered worse. Go bid my woman search for a jewel that too casually hath left mine arm. It was thy master's. Shrew me, if I would lose it for a revenue of any kings in Europe. I do think I saw it this morning. Confident I am last night 'twas on my arm. I kissed it. I hope it be not gone to tell my lord that I kiss aught but he.
Will not be lost.
I hope so. Go and search. We're going to need to pause. Clawton is frozen. I mean, I hope so. Go and search.
You have abused me! His meanest garment.
I said so, sir. If you will make it an action, call witness to't.
I will inform your father.
Your mother, too. She's my good lady and will conceive, I hope, but the worst of me. So I leave you, sir, to the worst of discontent.
I'll be revenged. His meanest garments. Well.
Fear it not, sir. I were so sure to win the king as I am bold, her honor will remain hers.
What means do you make to him?
Not any, but abide the changes of time, quake in the present winter state, and wish that warmer days would come. In these feared hope I barely gratify your love. They failing, I must die much your debtor.
Your very goodness and your company o'erpays all I can do. By this your king hath heard a great Augustus. Caius Lucius will do commission thoroughly, and I think he'll grant the tribute, send the arages, or look upon our Romans, whose remembrance is yet fresh in their grief.
I do believe, statist though I am none nor like to be, that this will prove a war. And you shall hear the legion now in Gallia, sooner landed and are not fearing Britain than have the tidings of any penny tribute paid. Our countrymen are men ordered more than when Julius Caesar smiled at their lack of skill, but found their courage worthy his frowning at. Their discipline, now winged with their courages, will make known to their approvers they are people such that mend upon the world.
Si, Achimo.
The swiftest hearts have posted you by land, and the winds of all the coroners kissed your sails to make your vessel nimble.
Welcome, sir.
I hope the briefness of your answer made the speediness of your return.
Your lady, whew, is one of the fairest that I have looked upon.
And therewith all the best, or let her beauty look through a casement to allure false hearts and be false with them.
Here are letters for you.
Their tenor good, I trust.
'Tis very like.
Was Caius Lucius in the Britain court when you were there?
He was expected then, but not approached.
All is well yet. Sparkles this stone as it was wont, or is 'tis not too dull for your good wearing?
If I have lost it, I should have lost the worth of it in gold. I'll make a journey twice as far to enjoy a second night of such shortness, which was mine in Britain. For the ring is one.
Are the stones too hard to come by?
Not a whit, your lady being so easy.
Make not, sir, your loss your sport. I hope you know that we must not continue as friends.
Good sir, we must, if you keep covenant. Had I not brought the knowledge of your mistress home, I grant we were to question farther, but I now profess myself the winner of her honor, together with your ring, and not the wronger of her or you, having proceeded but by both your wills.
If you can make it apparent that you have tasted her in bed, my hand and my ring is yours. If not, the foul opinion you had of her pure honor gains or loses your sword or mine, or master, let's leave both to who shall find them.
Sir, my circumstances being so near the truth as I will them, must first induce you to believe, whose strength I will confirm with oath, which I doubt not you'll give me leave to spare when you shall find you need it not.
Proceed.
First, her bedchamber, where I confess I slept not, but profess had that was well worth watching. It was hanged with tapestry of silk and silver, the story proud Cleopatra when she met her Roman, and Cydnus swelled above the banks, or for the press of boats or pride. Piece of work so bravely done, so rich that it did strive in workmanship and value, which I wondered could be so rarely and exactly wrought, since the true life on't was.
Oh, this is true, and this you might have heard of here by me or by some other.
More particulars must justify my knowledge.
So they must, or do your honor injury.
The chimney is south the chamber, and the chimney piece, chaste Diane, bathing, never saw I figures so likely to report themselves. The cutter was another nature, dumb, outwinter, motion, and breath left out.
This is a thing which you might from relation likewise reap, being as it is much spoke of.
The roof of the chamber, with golden cherubims, is fretted. Her andirons, I had forgot them, were two winking cupids of silver, each on 1 foot standing, nicely depending on their brands.
This is her honor? Let it be granted you have seen all of this, and praise be given to your remembrance. The description of what is in her chamber, nothing saves the wager you have laid.
Then if you can be pale, I beg you but leave to air this jewel. See? And now 'tis up again. It must be married to that your diamond. I'll keep them.
Jove! Once more, let me behold it. Is that which I left with her?
Sir, I thank her that she stripped it from her arm. I see her yet. Her pretty action did outsell her gift, and yet enriched it too. She gave it me and said she prized it once.
Maybe she plucked it off to send to me.
She writes to you, doth she?
Oh, no. 'Tis true. Here, take this too. It is a basilisk unto mine eye. Kills me to look on it. Let there be no honor where there is beauty, truth where semblance, love where there's another man. The vows of women of no more bondage be to where they are made than they are to their virtues, which is nothing. Oh, above measure false.
Have patience, sir, and take your ring again. 'Tis not yet won. It may be probable she lost it, or who knows if one her women, being corrupted, have stolen it from her.
Very true, very true. And so I hope he came by it. Back, my ring. Render to me some corporeal sign about her more evident than this, for this was stolen.
By Jupiter, I had it from her arm.
Hark you, he swears! By Jupiter, he swears, 'tis true. Nay, keep the ring, 'tis true. I am sure she would not lose it. Her attendants are all sworn and honorable. They induced to steal it, and by a stranger? No. He hath enjoyed her. The cognizance of her incontinency is this. She hath brought me the name of whore thus dearly. There, take thy hire, and all the fiends of hell divide themselves between you.
Sir, be patient. This is not strong enough to be believed of one persuaded well of.
Never talk of it! She hath been quoted by him.
If you seek further satisfying her breast, worthy the pressing, lies a mole right proud of the most delicate lodging. By my life, I kissed it, and it gave me present hunger to feed again, though full. You do remember this stain upon her?
Aye, and it doth confirm another stain as big as hell could hold, where there were no more but it.
Will you hear more?
Spare me your arithmetic! Never count the turns once and a million.
I'll be sworn.
No swearing! If you swear you have not done it, you lie. And I will kill thee if thou dost deny thou'st made it me a cuckold.
I'll deny nothing.
Oh, that I had her here to tear her limb meal. I will go there and do it in the court before her father. I'll do something.
Quite beside the government of patience. You have won. Let's follow him and pervert the present wrath he hath against himself.
With all my heart.
Is there no way for men to be, but women must be half workers? We are all bastards, and that most venerable man which I did call my father was not I know where when I was stamped. Some coiner with his tools made me a counterfeit, yet my mother seemed the Diane of that time, so doth my wife the nonpareil of this. Oh, vengeance, vengeance! Me and my lawful pleasure she restrained, and prayed me oft forbearance. Did it with a pudence so rosy, the sweet view on it might as well hath warmed old Saturn, that I thought her as chaste as unsunned snow. So the devils! This yellow Ichiamo in an hour was not, or less, that first perchance he spoke not but like a full acorned bear, a German one cried, "Oh!" and mounted, found no opposition, but what he looked for should oppose, and she should from the encounter guard. Could I find out the woman's part in me? For there's no motion that tends to bison man, but I'd affirm it is the woman's part. Be it lying, hers, the woman's, flattering hers, deceiving hers, lust, rank thoughts, hers revenges, hers ambitions, covetings, changes of brides, disdain, nice longings, slanders, mutable, all faults that have a name, nay, that hell knows why, hers. In part or all, but rather all. For even to vice they are not constant. but are changing still, one vice but of a minute old for one not so half so old as that. I'll write against them, detest them, curse them, yet 'tis greater skill in a true hate to pray. They have their will, the very devils cannot plague them better.
Now say, what would Augustus Caesar with us?
When Julius Caesar, whose remembrance yet lives in men's eyes and will to ears and tongues be theme and hearing ever, was in this Britain, and conquered it, CYMBELINE, thine uncle, famous in Caesar's praises, no whit less than his feats deserving it, for him and his succession granted Rome a tribute, yearly £3,000, which by thee lately is left untendered.
And to kill the marvel shall be so ever.
There'll be many Caesars ere such another Julius. Britain's a word by itself, and we will nothing pay for the wearing of our own noses.
That opportunity, which then they had to take from us to resume, we have again. Remember, sir, my liege, the kings, your ancestors, together with the natural bravery of your isle, which stands as Neptune's park, ribbed and paled in with rocks unscalable and roaring waters with sands that will not bear your enemies' boats, but suck them up to the topmast. A kind of conquest Caesar made here, that made not here his brag of came and saw and overcame. With shame, the first that ever touched him. He was carried from off our coast, twice beaten, and his shipping, poor ignorant baubles, on our terrible seas like eggshells moved upon their surges, cracked as easily gainst our rocks. For joy whereof the famed CYMBELINE was once at point, giglet fortune, to master Caesar's sword, made Lud's town with rejoicing fires bright, and Britons strut with courage.
Come, there's no more tribute to be paid. Our kingdom is stronger than it was at that time, and, as I said, there's no more such Caesars. Other of them may have crushed noses, but to owe such straight arms, none.
Son, let your mother end.
We have yet many among us that can grip as hard as CYMBELINE. I do not say I am one, but I have a hand. Why tribute? Why should we pay tribute? If Caesar can hide the sun from us, blankets to put the moon in his pocket, we will pay him tribute for light. Else, sir, no more tribute. Pray you now.
You must know, till the injurious Romans did extort this tribute from us, we were free. Caesar's ambition, which swelled so much that it did almost stretch the sides of the world, against all color here did put the yoke upon us, which to shake off becomes a warlike people, whom we reckon ourselves to be. We do say then to Caesar, our ancestor was that Mulmutius which ordained our laws, whose use the sword of Caesar hath too much mangled, whose repair and franchise shall, by the power we hold, be our good deed. Though Rome be therefore angry, Mulmutius made our laws, who was the first of Britain which did put his brows within a golden crown, and called himself a king.
I am sorry, CYMBELINE, that I am to pronounce Augustus Caesar, Caesar that hath more kings his servants than thyself domestic officers, thine enemy. Receive it from me then. War and confusion, in Caesar's name pronounce I 'gainst thee. Look, for fury not to be resisted. Thus defied, I thank thee for myself.
Thou art welcome, Caius. Thy Caesar knighted me. My youth I spent much under him. Of him I gathered honor, which... He to seek of me again perforce behooves me keep at utterance. I am perfect that the Pannonians and Dalmatians for their liberties are now in arms, a precedent which not to read would show the Britons cold. So Caesar shall not find them.
Let proof speak.
His Majesty bids you welcome. Make past time with us a day or two, or longer. If you see it as afterwards, in other terms, you shall find us in our saltwater girdle. If you beat us out of it, it's yours. If you fall into the adventure, our crows shall fare the better for you. And there's an end.
So, sir.
I know your master's pleasure, and he mine. All the remain is welcome.
Of adultery? Wherefore write you not what monsters her accuse? Leonatus, O master, what a strange infection is fallen to thy ear. What false Italian, as poisonous tongue as handed, hath prevailed on thy too ready hearing? Disloyal? No. She's punished for her truth and undergoes, more goddess-like than wife-like, such assaults as would take in some virtue. O my master, thy mind to her is now as low as were thy fortunes. How? That I should murder her, upon the love and truth and vows which I have made to thy command? I her blood? If it be so to do good service, never let me be counted serviceable. How look I that I should seem to lack humanity, so much as this fact comes to? Do it! The letter that I have sent her by her own command shall give the opportunity. Oh, damn it, paper, black as the ink that's on thee, senseless bubble. Art thou a fettery for this act? It looks so virgin-like without. Oh, lo, here she comes. I am ignorant in what I am commanded.
How now, Pisanio?
Madam, here is a letter from my lord.
Who? Thy lord? That is my lord, Leonatus. Oh, learned indeed were that astronomer that he knew the stars as I his characters. He'd lay the future open. You good gods, let what is here contained relish of love, of my lord's health, of his content, yet not that we two are asunder. Let that grieve him. Some griefs are medicinable, that is one of them, for it doth physic love. Of his content, all but in that. Good wax thy leave. Blessed be you bees that make these locks of counsel. Lovers and men in dangerous bonds pray not alike. Though forfeiters you cast in prison, yet you clasp beyond Cupid's tables. Good news, gods. Justice and your father's wrath, should he take me in his dominion, could not be so cruel to me as you, O the dearest of creatures, would even renew me with your eyes. Take notice that I am in Cambria at Milford Haven. What your own love will out of this advise you, follow. So he wishes you all happiness that remains loyal to his vow, and your increasing in love, Leonatus Posthumus. Oh, for a horse with wings, here's thou, Pisanio. He is at Milford Haven. Read and tell me how far 'tis thither. If one of mean affairs may plot it in a week, why may not I glide thither in a day? Then, true Pisanio, who longst, like me, to see thy lord, who longst, let me bait, but not like me, yet longst, but in a fainter kind. Oh, not like me, for mine's beyond, beyond. Say and speak thick, love's counselor should fill the bores of hearing, to the smothering of the sense, how far it is to this same blessed Milford. And by the way, tell me how Wales was made so happy as to inherit such a haven. But first of all, how we may steal from hence, and for the gap that we shall make in time from our hence going and our return to excuse. But first, how get hence? Why should excuse be born or ere begot? We'll talk of that hereafter. Prithee speak, how many score of miles may we well ride twixt hour and hour?
1 score twixt son and son, madams, enough for you, and too much too.
Why, one that rode to his execution, man, could never go so slow. I have heard of riding wagers, where horses have been nimbler than the sands that run in the clock's behalf. But this is foolery. Go, bid my woman feign a sickness. Say she'll home to her father, and provide me presently a riding suit, no costlier than would fit a Franklin's housewife.
Madam, you'll best consider.
I see before me, man, nor hear, nor what ensues, but have fog in them that I cannot look through. Away, I prithee, do as I bid thee. There's no more to say. Accessible is none but Milford way.
A goodly day not to keep house with such whose roof's as low as ours. Stoop, boys. This gate instructs you how to adore the heavens and bows you to a morning's holy office. The gates of monarchs are arched so high that giants may jet through and keep their impious turbans on without good morrow to the sun. Oh, hail, thou fair heaven! We house in the rock, yet use thee not so hardly as prouder lives do.
Hail heaven!
Hail heaven! Now, for our mountain sport. Up to yon hill. Oh, your legs are young. I'll tread these flats. Consider, when you above perceive me like a crow, that it is place which lessens and sets off, and you may then revolve what tales I have told you of courts, of princes, of the tricks in war. Oh, this service is not service, so being done, but being so allowed. To apprehend thus draws us a profit from all things we see, and often, to our comfort, shall we find the sharded beetle in a safer hold than is the full-winged eagle. Oh, this life is nobler than attending for a check, richer than doing nothing for a robe, prouder than rustling in unpaid-for silk. Such gain the cap of him that makes him fine, yet keeps his book uncrossed. No life to ours!
Out of your proof you speak, we poor unfledged have never winged from view of the nest, nor know not what airs from home. Haply this life is best, if quiet life be best, sweeter to you that have a sharper known, well corresponding with your stiff age. But unto us it is a cell of ignorance, traveling a bed, a prison, a den that not dares to stride a limit.
What should we speak of when we are as old as you? When we shall hear the rain and wind beat dark December, how in this our pinching cave shall we discourse the freezing hours away? We have seen nothing. We are beastly, subtle as the fox for prey, like warlike as the wolf for what we eat. Our valor is to chase what flies. Our cage we make a choir, as doth the prison bird, and sing our bondage freely.
You speak! Did you but know the city's usuries, and felt them knowingly, the art of the court as hard to leave as keep, whose top to climb is certain falling, or so slippery that the fear's as bad as falling, the toil of the war, a pain that only seems to seek out danger in the name of fame and honor, which dies in the search, and hath as oft a slanderous epitaph as a record of fair fact, nay, many times doth ill deserve by doing well. What's worse, must curtsy at the censure. Oh, boys, this story the world may read in me. My body's marked with Roman swords, and my report was once first with the best of note. Cymbeline loved me. And when a soldier was the theme, my name was not far off. Then was I as a tree whose boughs did bend with fruit. But in one night a storm or robbery, call it what you will, shook down my mellow hangings, nay, my leaves, and made me bare to weather.
Uncertain favor.
My fault being nothing, as I have told you oft, but the two villains, whose false oaths prevailed before mine perfect honor, swore to Cymbeline I was confederate with the Romans. So followed my banishment. And this 20 years, this rock and these demences have been my world, where I have lived at honest freedom, paid more pious debts to heaven than in all the forend of my time. But up to the mountains! Oh! This is not hunter's language. He that strikes the venison first shall be lord of the feast. To him the other two shall minister, and we will fear no poison, which attends in place of greater state. I'll meet you in the valleys. How hard it is to hide these sparks of nature. These boys know little. They are sons to the king, nor Cymbeline dreams that they are alive. They think they are mine, and though trained up thus meanly, in the cave wherein they bow, their thoughts do hit the roofs of palaces, and nature prompts them in simple and low things to prince it much beyond the trick of others. This Polydore, the heir of Cymbeline and Britain, who the king his father called Guiderius Jove. Oh, when on my 3-foot stool I sit and tell the warlike feats I have done, his spirits fly out into my story, say, thus mine enemy fell, and thus I set my foot on his neck. Even then the princely blood flows in his cheek. He sweats, strains his young nerves, and puts himself in posture that acts my words. The younger brother, Cadwal, once a vigorous, as in like a figure strikes life into my speech and shows much more his own conceiving. Hark! The game is roused. O Cymbeline, heaven and my conscience knows thou didst unjustly banish me, whereon at 3 and 2 years old I stole these babes, thinking to bar thee of succession as thou reft me of my lands. Europhile, thou wast their nurse. They took thee for thy mother, and every day do honor unto her grave. Myself, Belarius, that am Morgan called, they take for natural father. The game is up!
Thou toldst to me when we came from horse, the place was near at hand. Ne'er longed my mother so to see me first as I have now. Bassanio, man, where is Posthumus? What is in thy mind that makes thee stare thus? Wherefore breaks that sigh from the inward of thee? One but painted thus would be interpreted a thing perplexed beyond self-explication. Put thyself into a haviour of less fear, ere wildness vanquish my stater senses. What's the matter? Why tenderest thou that paper to me with a look untender? If be summer news, smile to it before. If winterly, thou needst but keep that countenance still. My husband's hand. That drug-damned Italy hath outcraftied him, and he's at some hard point. Speak, man, thy tongue may take off some extremity, which to read would be even mortal to me.
Please you read, and you shall find me, wretched man, a thing the most disdained of fortune.
My mistress, Bassanio, hath played the strumpet in my bed, the testimonies whereof lie bleeding in me. I speak not out of weak surmises, but from proof as strong as my grief and as certain as I expect my revenge. That part thou, Bassanio, must act for me, if thy faith be not tainted with the breach of hers. Let thine own hands take away her life? I shall give thee opportunity at Milford Haven. She hath my letter for the purpose whereof thou fear to strike, and to make me certain it is done. Thou art the pandar to her dishonor, and equally to me disloyal.
What shall I need to draw my sword? The paper hath cut her throat already. No, 'tis slander, whose edge is sharper than the sword, whose tongue outvenoms all the worms of Nile, whose breath rides on the hosting winds and doth belie all corners of the world. Kings, queens, and states, maids, matrons, nay, the secrets of the grave, this viperous slander enters. What cheer, madam?
False to his bed? What is it to be false? To lie and watch there and to think on him? To weep twixt clock and clock, if sleep charge nature, to break it with a fearful dream of him and cry myself awake? That's false to his bed, is it?
Alas, good lady!
Aye, false! Thy conscious witness, Iachimo, thou didst accuse him of incontinency. Thou then lookst like a villain. Now methinks thy favour's good enough. Some jay of Italy, whose mother was her painting, hath betrayed him. Poor I am, stale, a garment out of fashion. And for I am richer than to hang by the walls, I must be ripped to pieces with me. Oh, men's vows are women's traitors. All good seeming, by thy revolt, O husband, shall be thought put on for villainy, not born where it grows, but worn a bait for ladies.
Good madam, hear me.
True honest men being heard like false Aeneas, were in his time thought false, and Sinon's weeping did scandal many a holy tear, took pity from most true wretchedness. So thou, Posthumus, wilt lay the leaven on all proper men. Goodly and gallant shall be false and perjured from thy great fall. Come, fellow, be thou honest. Do thy master's bidding. When thou seest him a little, witness my obedience. Look, I draw the sword myself. Take it and hit the innocent mansion of my love, my heart. Fear not, 'tis empty of all things but grief. Thy master is not there, who was indeed the richest of it. Do his bidding. Strike. Thou mayst be valiant in a better cause. But now thou seemst a coward.
Hence, vile instrument! Thou shalt not damn my hand.
Why, I must die. And if I do not by thy hand, thou art no servant of thy master's. Against self-slaughter there is a prohibition so divine that cravens my weak hand. Come, here's my heart. Something's afort. Soft, soft will no defense. Obedient as the scabbard. What is here? The scriptures of the loyal Leonatus, all turned to heresy? Away, away, corrupters of my faith. You shall no more be stomachers to my heart. Thus may poor fools believe false teachers, though those that are betrayed do feel the treason sharply. Yet the traitor stands in worse case of woe. And thou, Posthumus, thou that didst set up my disobedience against the king my father, and make me put into contempt the suits of princely fellows, shalt hereafter find it is no act of common passage, but a strain of rareness. And I grieve myself to think, when thou shalt be disedged by her, that now thou tirest on, how thy memory will then be pained by me. Prithee dispatch. The lamb entreats the butcher. Where's thy knife? Thou art too slow to do thy master's bidding when I desire it too.
Oh, gracious lady, since I have received command to do this business, I have not slept one wink.
Do it, and to bed then.
I'll wake mine eyeballs out first.
Wherefore then didst undertake it? Why hast thou abused so many miles with a pretense? This place, mine action, and thine own are horses' labor, the time inviting thee, the perturbed court for my being absent, whereunto I never purpose return. Why hast thou gone so far to be unbent when thou hast ta'en thy stand, the elected dear before thee?
But to win time, to lose so bad employment, in the which I have considered of a course. Good lady, hear me with patience.
Talk thy tongue weary. Speak, I have heard I am a strumpet, and mine ear therein false struck can take no greater wound, nor tent to bottom that. But speak.
Then, madam, I thought you would not back again.
Most like, bringing me here to kill me.
Not so neither. But if I were as wise as honest, then my purpose would prove well. It cannot be but that my master is abused. Some villain, aye, and singular in his art, hath done you both this cursed injury.
Some Roman courtesan.
No, on my life, I'll give but notice you are dead, and send him some bloody sign of it, for 'tis commanded I should do so. You shall be missed at court, and that will well confirm it.
Why, good fellow, what shall I do the while? Where bide? How live? Or in my life, what comfort when I am dead to my husband?
If you're back to the court...
No court, no father, nor no more ado with that harsh, noble, simple nothing, that cloten, whose love suit hath been to me as fearful as a siege.
If not at court, then not in Britain must you bide.
Where then hath Britain all the sun that shines? Day, night, are they not but in Britain? And the world's volume our Britain seems as of it, but not in't. In a great pool, a swan's nest, prithee, think their livers out of Britain.
I am most glad you think of other place. The ambassador Lucius the Roman comes to Milford Haven tomorrow. Now, if you could wear a mind, dark as your fortune is, and but disguise that which appear itself must not yet be, but by self-danger, you should tread a course pretty in full of view, yea, haply near the residence of Posthumus, so nigh, at least, that though his actions were not visible, yet report should render him hourly to your ear, as truly as he moves.
Oh, for such means. Though peril to my modesty, not death, on't, I would adventure.
Well, then here's the point. You must forget to be a woman. Change command into obedience, fear, and niceness. The handmaids of all women, or more truly, woman, its pretty self, into a waggish courage. Ready in gibes, quick-answered, saucy, and as querulous as the weasel. Nay, you must forget that rarest treasure of your cheek, exposing it, but oh, the harder heart! Alack, no remedy. It's the greedy touch of common kissing Titan, and forget your laborsome and dainty trims, wherein you made great Juno angry.
Nay, be brief, I see into thine end, and am almost a man already.
First, make yourself but like one. Forethinking this, I have already fit. 'Tis in my cloak bag, doublet, hat, hose, all that answer to them. Would you, when they're serving, and with what imitation you can borrow from youth of such a season, for noble Lucius, present yourself, desire his service, tell him wherein you're happy, which will make him know if that his head have ear in music. Doubtless with joy he will embrace you, for he's honorable, in doubling that most holy. Your means abroad. You have me rich, and I will never fail, beginning nor supplement.
Thou art all the comfort the gods will diet me with. Prithee away, there's more to be considered, but we'll even all that good time will give us. This attempt I am soldier to, and will abide it with a prince's courage. Away, I prithee.
Well, madam, we must take a short farewell, lest being missed, I be suspected of your carriage from the court. My noble mistress, here is a box. I had it from the queen. What's in it is precious. If you are sick at sea or stomach qualmed at land, a dram of this will drive away distemper. To some shade and fit you to your manhood. May the gods direct you to the best.
Amen. I thank thee.
Thus far, and so farewell.
Thanks, royal sir. My emperor hath wrote, I must from hence, and am right sorry that I must report you my master's enemy.
Our subject, sir, will not endure his yoke, and for ourselves to show less sovereignty than they, must needs appear unkinglike.
So, sir, I desire of you a conduct overland to Milford Haven. Madam, all joy before your grace, and you.
My lords, you are appointed for that office, the due of honor in no point omit. So farewell, noble Lucius.
Your hand, my lord.
You see it friendly, but from this time forth, I wear it as your enemy.
Sir, the event is yet to name the winner. Fare you well.
Leave not the worthy Lucius, good my lords, till he have crossed the Severn. Happiness!
He goes hence frowning, but it honors us that we have given him cause.
'Tis all the better. Your valiant Britons have their wishes in it.
Lucius hath wrote already to the emperor how it goes here. It fits us, therefore, ripely our chariots and our horsemen be in readiness. The powers that he already hath in Gallia will soon be drawn to head, from whence he moves his war for Britain.
'Tis not sleepy business, but must be looked to speedily and strongly.
Our expectation that it would be thus hath made us forward. But, my gentle queen, where is our daughter? She hath not appeared before the Roman, nor to us hath tendered the duty of the day. She looks us like a thing more made of malice than of duty. We have noted it. Call her before us, for we have been too slight in sufferance.
Royal sir, since the exile of Posthumus, most retired hath her life been. The cure whereof, my lord, 'tis time must do. Beseech your majesty, forbear sharp speeches to her. She's a lady so tender of rebukes that words are strokes and strokes, death to her.
Where is she, sir? How can her contempt be answered? I'll give the cue again.
Please you, sir, her chambers are locked, and there's no answer that will be given to the loudest noise we make.
My lord, when last I went to visit her, she prayed me to excuse her keeping close. Whereunto, constrained by her infirmity, she should that duty leave unpaid to you, which daily she was bound to proffer. This she wished me to make known, but our great court made me to blame on memory.
Her doors locked, not seen of late. Grant heavens that which I fear prove false.
Son, I say, follow the king.
This man of hers, Pisanio, her old servant, I have not seen these 2 days.
Go, look after. Pisanio, thou that stands so for Posthumus, he hath a drug of mine. I pray his absence proceed by swallowing that, for he believes it is a thing most precious. But for her, where is she gone? Haply despair hath seized her, or winged with fervour of her love, she's flown to her desired Posthumus. Gone she is to death or dishonour, and my end can make good use of either. She being down, I have the placing of the British crown. How now, my son?
'Tis certain she is fled. Go in and cheer the king. He ranges. None dare come about him.
All the better. May this night forestall him of coming day.
I love and hate her, for she's fair and royal, and that she hath all courtly parts more exquisite than ladies, woman. For every one the best she hath, and she, all compounded, outsells them all. I love her therefore, but disdaining me and throwing favours on the low Posthumus, slanders so her judgment that what else rare is choked, and at this point I will conclude to hate her, nay, indeed, but to be revenged upon her. For when fools shall... Who is here? What are you packing, sirrah? Come hither. Ah, you precious plunder. Villain, where is thy lady? In a word, or else thou straight away with thy fiends.
Oh, good my lord.
Where is thy lady? Or by Jupiter, I will not ask again. Close, villain, I have this secret from thy heart, or rip thy heart to find it. Is she with Posthumus, for whose too many weights of bassiness can a dram be worth drawn?
Alas, my lord, how can she be with him when she was missed? He is in Rome.
Where is she, sir? Come nearer. No farther halting. Satisfy me home. What is become of her?
Oh, my all-worthy lord!
Oh, worthy villain! Discover where thy mistress is at once. At my next word, no more of worthy lord. Speak, or thy silence of the instant is thy commandant of thy death.
Then, sir, this paper is the history of my knowledge touching her flight.
Let's see it. I will pursue her even to Augustus's throne.
Or this or perish. She's far enough, and what he learns by this may prove his travail, not her danger. I'll write to my lord she's dead. O Imogen, safe mayst thou wander, safe return again.
Sirrah, is this letter true?
Sir, as I think.
It is Posthumus' hand. I know it. Sirrah, if thou wasn't be a villain, but do me good true service, undergo those employments wherein I should have called to use thee with a serious industry, that is, what villainy soe'er, I bid thee do to perform it directly and truly. I would think thee an honest man. Thou shouldest neither want my needs for thy relief, nor my voice for thy preferment.
Well, my good lord.
Wilt thou serve me? For since patiently and constantly thou hast stuck to the bare fortune of the beggar Posthumus, thou canst not, in the course of gratitude, be a diligent follower of mine. Wilt thou serve me?
Sir, I will.
Give me thy hand. Here's my purse. Hast any of the late master's garments in thy possession?
I have, my lord, at my lodging the same suit he wore when he took leave of my lady and mistress.
First service thou dost me. Fetch me that suit hither. Let it be thy first service. Go.
I shall, my lord.
Meet thee at Milford Haven. I forgot to ask him one thing. I'll remember it anon. Even there, thou villain Posthumus, will I kill thee. I would these garments were come. She said upon a time the bitterness of it. Now I belch from my heart that she held the very garment of Posthumus in more respect than my noble and natural passion, together with the endowment of my qualities, which that suit upon my back, will I ravage her. First, kill him, and in her eyes there she will see my valour, which then will be a torment to her contempt. He, on the ground, my speech of insultment ended on his dead body, and when my lust hath divined, which, as I say, to vex her, I will execute in the clothes that she so praised. To the court I knock her back, foot her again. She hath despised me rejoicely, and I'll be merry in my revenge. And by those the garments.
Aye, my noble lord.
How long is it since she went to Milford Haven?
She can scarce be there yet.
Bring the apparel to my chamber. That is the second thing that I have commanded thee. The third is that thou wilt be a voluntary mute to my design, but be duetous, and true preferment shall tender itself to thee. My revenge is now at Milford. Would I had wings to follow it. Come, and be true.
Thou biddest me to my loss, hold true, prove false, which I will never be to him that is most true. Milford go, and find not her whom thou pursuest. Flow, flow, you heavenly blessings on her. This fool's speed be crossed with slowness. Labor be his meed.
I see a man's life is a tedious one. I have tired myself, for 2 nights together have made the ground my bed. I should be sick, but that my resolution helps me. Milford, when from the mountain top Bassanio showed thee, thou wast without a kin. Oh, Jove, I think foundations fly the wretched. Such, I mean, where they should be relieved. 2 beggars told me I could not miss my way. Will poor folks lie that have afflictions on them, knowing 'tis a punishment or trial? Yes, no wonder, when rich ones scarce tell true. To lapse in fullness is sorer than to lie for need, and falsehood is worse in kings than beggars. My dear Lord, thou art one of the false ones. Now I think on thee, my hunger's gone, but even before I was at point to seek for food. What is this? Here's a path to it, to some savage hold. I were best not to call. I dare not call, yet famine, ere clean and overthrow nature, makes it valiant. Plenty and peace breeds cowards. Hardness ever of hardiness is mother. Ho, who's here? If anything that's civil, speak. If savage, take or lend. Ho! No answer? Then I'll enter. Best draw my sword. And if mine enemy but fear the sword like me, he'll scarcely look on't. Such a foe, good heavens.
You, Polydor, have proven best woodman of the feast, and now you are master of the feast. Codwell and I will play the cook and servant. 'Tis our match. The sweat of industry would die and dry, but for the end it works to. Come, our stomachs will make what's homely savory. Weariness can snore upon the flint when resty sloth finds the down pillow hard. Now, peace be here, poor house, thou keep thyself.
I am thoroughly weary.
I am weak with toil, yet strong in appetite.
There is cold meat in the cave. We'll browse on that whilst what we have killed be cooked.
Stay! Come not in! but that it eats our victuals, I should think here were a fairy.
What's the matter, sir?
By Jupiter, an angel, or if not, an earthly paragon. Behold divineness, no elder than a boy.
Good masters, harm me not. Before I entered here, I called, and thought to have begged or bought what I took. Good troth, I have stolen not, nor would not, though I had found gold strewed in the floor. Here's money for my meat. I would have left it on the board so soon as I had made my meal and parted with prayers for the provider.
Money, youth?
All gold and silver rather turned to dirt, as 'tis no better reckoned but of those who worship dirty gods.
I see you're angry. No, if you kill me for my fault, I should have died had I not made it.
Whither bound?
To Milford Haven.
What's your name?
Fidele, sir. I have a kinsman who was bound for Italy. He embarked at Milford, to whom being going, almost spent with hunger, I am fallen in this offense.
Prithee, fair youth, think us no churls, nor measure our good minds by this rude place we live in. Well encountered. 'Tis almost night. You shall have better cheer ere you depart, and thanks to stay and eat it. Boys, bid him welcome.
You a woman, youth? I should woo hard, but be a groom in honesty. I bid for you as I do buy.
I'll take my comfort he is a man. I'll love him as my brother, and such a welcome as I'd give to him after long absence, such as yours. Most welcome. Breathe brightly, for you fall amongst friends.
Amongst friends, if brothers. Would it had been so, they had been my father's sons. Then had my prize been less, and so more equal ballasting to thee, Posthumus.
He rings at some distress.
Would I could free it.
Or I, whate'er it be, what pain it cost, what danger. Gods!
Hark, boys.
Great men that had a court no bigger than this cave, that did attend themselves and had the virtue with their own conscience sealed them, laying by that nothing gift of differing multitudes could not outpeer these twain. Pardon me, gods, I'd change my sex to be companion with them since Leonatus is false.
Rank. It shall be so. Boys, we'll go dress our hunt. Fair youth, come in. Discourse is heavy, fasting. When we have supped, we'll mannerly demand thee of thy story, so far as thou wilt speak it.
Pray, draw near.
The night to the owl and morn, to the lark less welcome.
Thanks, sir.
I pray you, draw near.
This is the tenor of the emperor's writ, that since the common man are now in action against the Pannonians and Dalmatians, and that the legions now in Gallia are full weak to undertake our wars against the far-off Britons, that we do incite the gentry to this business. He creates Lucius Pronsul, and to you the tribunes for this immediate levy. He commends his absolute commission. Long live Caesar.
Is Lucius general of the forces?
Aye.
Reigning now in Gallia?
With those legions which I spoke of, whereunto your levy must be suppliant, the words of your commission will tie you to the numbers in the time of their dispatch.
We will discharge our duty.